So, hey Chucklefucks, it's your boy, again, Dark Raccoon with another different what if. Yes, I know I'm gonna have to rewatch a lot of different what ifs, but I'm only uploading the what ifs that I basically have. Like, I thought of so many. Some of them were kind of suggested, not many. Mostly some that actually interest me. But yeah, I don't do, well, just like my first channel, I don't actually do suggested what ifs that don't actually interest me. Or those that I don't have much information on. But yeah, mostly those are my two rules. If you give me a suggested what if, it has to be something that I'm interested in, or something that I must know, and if it's kind of interesting, okay? But yeah, also no gender bending the main character. No. That's probably one thing I also, did I also put that in my first channel? I don't remember. But yeah, that's one thing I won't actually do at all. But not the point. Let me go into, well, the what if. This is called What If Issei had a Titan Sacred Gear. Now, I know that some people are going to be thinking Titan from Attack on Titans. No, bitch. Get the fuck out of here before I kick you to the curb. No, I'm talking about Godzilla. Because in the Godzilla movies, they're mostly called Titans. Like Mothra, King, whatever his goddamn name is. King Kong. Like all the like different kind of animals are in Godzilla, like the different titans. Yeah, those are basically called titans. But there's another word. I think they're called kaiju, something like that. Kaiju. I don't remember. The reason why I didn't put it on the title, I should have put slash kaiju, whatever the hell they're also called. But yeah, but not the point. He is going to have a kind of sacred gear of, well, mostly, yes, he's going to have a Titan sacred gear. Now, you can see in the thumbnail, this motherfucker is going to have, well, if you can see in the thumbnail, okay? I don't need to explain it. Also, if you don't know who Godzilla is, well, too fucking bad. I will explain that shit later because I don't have time for this shit, okay? I explain some of the things like new characters or people don't actually like. Okay, let me say this again. Shit. You know, I forgot I got sidetracked. Never mind. Let me just go into the what if and let me begin. Now, we begin into mostly someone just waking up. This person just kind of stood up from his bed. And of course, just looking, looking up, of course, with his spiky black hair. Of course, he's looking up, kind of tired. One of his eyes has kind of a bluish color, while the other one's actually a reddish color. But of course, it decides to turn brown after a while. It's where, well, when he gets up, he feels really tired. Now, of course, he has, like, spiky black hair. And now, of course, well, this person is none other than Issei Hyodo. Well, mostly his last name doesn't really matter because he doesn't really care. This is where he gets up, and of course, this is where it's dark in his, like, house. Of course, this is where there's a sword next to him. Mostly this, like, katana. This katana that's like a black, mostly the handle is like purely black, but it's kind of spiky a little bit. And of course, the sheath of the blade was also kind of like spiky, but it has like this obsidian kind of black to it. This is where, well, the blade itself is kind of unknown because he hasn't really sheathed it or anything. But of course, this is where he kind of picks it up, and this is where it just disappears into thin air. This is where, well, he says, right, time for more training. Well, time to do. This is where someone said in his head, "Hey kid, you know it's not time for any training. You know it's time to kind of go to school." This is where, well, Issei says, "Fuck, not school. Oh shit. Oh god, I don't even want to go back. It's been over a couple of months of me going to school, especially going to the one that's called, well, it's called Kuo Academy. This is where, well." He says, "Oh, I don't even want to go. There's so many perverts and so many crazy chicks. Jesus fucking Christ. Guess I'm gonna have to go with the act. Thanks, Drake. For the love of God, you made my fucking day worse." This is where the now known Drake, the Red Dragon Emperor, kinda says, "You're welcome, brat." This is where, well, Issei says, "Screw you." This is where, well, Issei in this one will still have the Red Dragon booster gear. when I'm with the kanji, well, I will talk about the other gear because he does have a second one. But yeah, this is where, well, Issei, he gets towards mostly downstairs. Of course, it's really dark, and of course, well, this is not his original house like in original canon. Actually, well, it is, but mostly there's like no one here. This is where Issei kind of doesn't really sadden a bit. Pretty much, he kind of just gets a flashback of when he was younger, and of course, he was with his parents. His parents were kind of neglecting him on this kind of like little bit of a family trip because they were kind of looking at a bunch of stuff, and this is where Issei kind of got lost one time. This is where, well, Issei does remember a little bit of when he got lost. He was about to get attacked by this giant three-headed dragon from the sky, like made out of lightning, while his parents just run off because they're screaming. But of course, instead of getting attacked, a giant beast, a giant lizard beast came out of nowhere and like mostly grabbed, well, one of the heads, or mostly all three of the heads, and pushed him down to the water. Issei was pushed by the curb, and of course, this is where, well, Issei was kind of managing to survive on an island, all alone, but of course, met the creature that kind of saved him. This is where, well, he now knows this creature as, well, a titan, a kaiji, or whatever it's called. But of course, where, well, he kind of talked to him for a little bit, but yeah. Mostly the name of his, well, new companion when he was younger was called Godzilla. Now, of course, from his understanding, he can actually understand Godzilla in his kind of language. This is where, well, Issei just remembers that, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei, he did also, I should mention, the field trip that they were at, mostly, or mostly not field trip, mostly kind of vacation they were at, mostly was on an island, and of course, that shit happened. And of course, the two titans were fighting on that island, who did kind of kill off a bunch of people. Killing off, well, Issei's parents. Mostly Issei's parents got stomped on for karma by Godzilla. But yeah, because Godzilla didn't care. This is where, well, Issei just really doesn't care about his family being dead. It's been over, well, what's it called, 7 years since the last time he seen them. But yeah, because he was 10 at that time. But this is where Issei says, well, it's time for school. That's where Issei kind of just like put some toast on the, what's it called, like stove, and just cook it. And of course, where, well, he does put some butter also. Well, now of course, he does kind of put some butter on it with a knife and all them other things, whatever. Of course, where, well, he kind of gets ready by taking a shower because he did kind of wake up early and did go to the kitchen first. But of course, he gets out of the shower and kind of like puts on his kind of uniform for the school. This is where he wears a kind of red shirt underneath, mostly the kind of coat shirt, whatever, blazer I think it's called, whatever. But of course, where, well, he doesn't really care because he wears a red shirt, but he only wears that just because he has, well, 2 double lives, mostly in school. Well, mostly a double life. One inside of school, a fake personality, and one that's actually his true personality, that's mostly him alone. Mostly his fake personality is him being a pervert. Mostly trying to false everyone thinking he's a pervert. He's nothing special. There's nothing really much anything about him, but yeah. But of course, there's also the real one that's mostly, well, him kind of really not caring about anything. He doesn't care about girls. He doesn't care about anyone. Pretty much, he only cares about himself most of the time. But this is where, well, he mostly cares also being about alone and not being bothered by anyone. But yeah, this is where Issei, he does kind of goes downstairs, gets the bread, and of course, just puts it in his mouth while eating it to get towards school. But yeah, this is where he's also drinking coffee. Well, mostly he drank a bunch of coffee and then just went to school like that. This is where, well, when he's getting to school, he kind of noticed, well, mostly, what's it called, a black hair female with her kind of seemed like sister, which Issei thought about it, but yeah, he kind of remembered their names, kind of. One is named Yumi and the other one is named Junko. Mostly the girl who's named Junko is mostly a blondish hair girl with 2 ponytails. And of course, just has, what's it called, a nice kind of like bust size, mostly both of them. But of course, Issei, he only knows about this is just because of his two perverted friends. Himself isn't that much of a pervert. Mostly that's his false self, but he needs to keep up that whole pervert kind of charade because he doesn't want to be bothered by the devils in the school. Yes, he does know there's devils in the school, mostly by Seraph Sona and also Grimmery Reyes. He doesn't want to be bothered by any of them. Also, there's another devil who's mostly, they are like the two queens. Well, there's actually a total of 4 queens of the school because, yeah, mostly the 4 queens are just very beautiful, like, females. Mostly Grimmery is one of them, and, well, Sarafal is another one. But there's also, well, not Sarafal, mostly, what was Sona's last name? I don't remember. Mostly, then there's another one who has silver hair, kind of these goldenish eyes, and of course usually doesn't wear the school uniform, but also mostly a bunch of guys goes crazy for her. But yeah, of course Issei doesn't really remember her name that much. This is where there's another one, but this is where Issei just doesn't care. He really doesn't care. Mostly those are the 3 kind of popular girls. The 4th one is mostly doesn't really want to be bothered most of the time. This is where, well, Issei's the exact same. He rather not care that much. But yeah, this is where, well, Issei suppresses like magical aura just because they shouldn't be able to sense it. Mostly the 2 females. Mostly he kind of just suppresses it to a human level. And of course, this is where he walks past them. And of course, they both kind of just look at him like he's like that perverted kid and blah, blah, blah. This is where, well, Issei didn't care but just walked past him. This is where, well, Issei's expression seems to look tired because he is tired. He got woken up by Drake saying, "It's time for school, kid." This is where Issei, he thought it was just a fucking nightmare, but it was actually Drake, which he fucking hates him. But yeah, Issei just sighs because he's just so damn tired. He gets to school, and of course he gets there kind of late. The reason why he's late is because, well, Issei could have got there pretty early because he was actually getting pretty early until he went to kind of go to sleep on the roof. He didn't care. He went to go to sleep. He didn't care. Then he kind of got there like 30 minutes late, and that's where the teacher asked him where he was. That's where Issei says, I woke up late. This is where, well, it wasn't pretty much a lie that he kind of said that. This is where, well, she sighs and just says, just go to your seat. This is where she doesn't really want to be bothered by the leader of the perverted trio. But of course, this is where Issei kind of just smiles, a little friendly smile, but yeah. He kind of sits down, and of course, this is where his 2 perverted friends are kind of trying to like ramble on and just talk and other things. This is where, well, someone sees him mostly kind of come in, but then just looks back at the board. Now, of course, Issei didn't actually, well, he did notice this. He didn't actually, well, leave it up for, what's it called, question. It's mostly one of the 3, what's it called, or mostly one of the 4 popular girls. This girl has silverish hair and of course golden eyes. Now of course the word, well, Issei does know that she is actually one of them, mostly one of the popular girls, which Issei, in his opinion, he just doesn't want to be with any of the 4 popular girls, even though most of the guys would be going crazy, mostly wanting to be with one of them. Issei, on the other hand, is like, fuck that shit. It'll be too much of a bother, too much of a drag to be near them. This is where, well, Issei then, after the class was over, he just went on for different classrooms. Of course, this is where, well, he went to mostly on top of the roof, just because the roof is kind of lonely and not many people kind of go up there, which Issei does kind of just get up here just because he doesn't want to be bothered at all. But of course, when he gets up here, he sees absolute no one, he senses no one, and he just goes to just sit down, mostly like sit down on top of the wait, you know when this, okay, let me think this, you know how there's, okay, they're already at the top of the building and all that, the roof. Mostly he like sleeps on top of, well, not on top, mostly the side of the door, the other kind of side of the wall. This is where, well, he decides to take a short nap because, well, fuck it. He doesn't actually care if he actually takes like 2 hours of a nap because, well, all his other classes he kind of hates. The only class that he doesn't hate is the last class. Not because it's just the last class, but the teacher, he's actually okay with him. Now, this teacher is mostly a co-ed teacher because it's mostly what's it called, the class of kind of kind of like robotics, like a robotics class. Now, of course, Issei's really cool with this because he actually gets to learn technology and actually build a robot. Now, Issei's pretty smart. He actually does show off his kind of talent being smart. Now, of course, the other students usually don't bother him because, well, Issei, well, mostly since he's a pervert and mostly all the girls will ignore him and the guys will also try to ignore him because he's not that popular. Issei, on the other hand, he gets to go into a secret room in this robotic class and actually work on a project of like technology or something like that, of like robots or anything. The teacher's okay. Now, of course, he is also okay with Issei kind of cussing. He doesn't really give a shit if he cuss or not. Like, he even tells the student, hey, if you cuss, I don't give a shit. This is where, well, the students are just baffled, but Issei doesn't care. Because Issei does mess up and does scream out fuck most of the time, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei, on the other hand, he is right now just taking about 2 hours of sleep because he said, fuck it. This is where, well, Issei is just taking a nap. This is where, well, Issei kind of just wake up after someone keeps poking him in the face and keeps calling his name after it's been almost, barely even 2 hours, like 1 hour and 30 minutes. This is where, well, he opens his eyes, just narrowing them because he's right now thinking it's either, well, his two perverted friends finding out where his secret spot's at because usually he doesn't tell his friends unless they do already know that this is kind of a spot. Well, it's not really a secret spot. It's mostly a known spot that his two friends does know, and they're mostly bothering him to kind of come along to kind of go peek on the girls, which Issei doesn't even have even a care or sympathy in actually going to go pick on the Kendo girls. This is where, well, he kind of opened his eyes thinking if it's his two friends, he would just tell them to fuck off. Which he does. He says, Motohama and Mato, whatever. Fuck off, I'm tired. If you bother me, I swear to God. This is where, well, the person speaks up and saying, Motohama and Mata? You mean the two perverts? Sorry, I'm none of those. This is where Issei won his eyes after hearing it's actually a female voice. This is where he looks up and realizes it's none other than the silver-haired girl with goldenish eyes. Issei said, fuck. This is going to be a drag. This is where Issei gets up and says, oh shit, what time is it? This is where she says, it's been 1 hour and 30 minutes. You know, our teacher kind of did tell me to go look for you. Issei said, sorry about that. This is where Issei was walking past her until she actually grabbed his hand and says, wait. You do also realize that we're going to clean the kind of, after school, we're going to have to clean, well, the, first hour kind of class. She did tell us to kind of clean it. Well, mostly if you did pay attention. Issei said, oh, for fuck's sakes. Issei then managed to kind of wiggle his hand out of her kind of grasp. But of course, Issei kind of just puts his fucking hand toward his head and says, ugh, fine, whatever. Issei starts walking towards, well, mostly downstairs. And of course, the girl's kind of surprised because he's usually a pervert and is supposed to kind of like look at her. Mostly Issei didn't even look at her, glance at her, even once. Issei just thought it was so much of a drag. This is where, Issei kind of, when he gets downstairs, instead of taking the actual way to get to class, he takes the opposite way. He starts walking that way. He knows there's only like about 20 minutes left, or another like 20 minutes left for class to be over. He's taking the long way. This is where, the female kind of realized that Issei is taking the opposite way just to kill time. Issei really doesn't seem to really care about class or anything. Which she realized if she doesn't get him to the class, the teacher's gonna question her and where the fuck Issei kind of went. This is where she groans because, she didn't really want to go chase after him. Now, of course, Issei, he kind of goes outside just to kill time. He kind of lays near a tree and says, fuck it, whatever. You expect me to kind of go to class. Too bad for her. I don't care. This is where Drake says, kid, how are you this lazy to learn about anything? This is where, Issei says, Drake, there's only one thing that I don't want to do is learn about history. I don't care about history. This is where, well, it's not really history. It's mostly kind of like a class of like, how should I say? It was a class of well, yeah, it was a class of history, and of course, this is where, well, Drake says, then how are you gonna learn your mistake when someone already found you? What do you mean? This is where, well, someone stood next to him, of course, and he had his like right eye kind of closed, and his left eye like also almost going closed. This is where, well, he opens his right side and kind of looks to his right side. This is where he sees the same fucking chick who kind of did woke him up, and what's it called, top of the mostly the roof. This is where Issei says, fucking his head. This is where Issei gets up and says, what do you want? She sighs and says, seriously, are you just going to try to ditch class? This is where, well, Issei said, did it work? Wait, how many hours do I have left? This is where Issei realized it's 10 fucking minutes left. Issei says, oh, for fuck's sakes. Son of a bitch. Well, it's not 10 minutes left, it's actually 15. This is where Issei says, I only killed 5 fucking minutes. Damn it. Issei is still feeling tired. He doesn't care. He really doesn't care about getting to class. This is where, well, the girl actually was about to grab his hand until Issei says, don't worry, I'll get to class. This is where, well, mostly not his hand, mostly his wrist, but this is where Issei says, don't worry, I'll get to class. I'll be getting there shortly later when I get to the pattern. This is where, well, she kind of growls and says, really, Hiro? You're really gonna just try to kill more time? We already wasted, I don't know, about like 45, well, not 45 minutes, 35 minutes. I'm not going to go chase you around the whole school just for you to get to class. It's history. Truly, maybe if you learn from your mistakes about mostly going to find a good hiding place, you can find that out that this has always has been repeated by someone else before you. Issei just says, huh, all I have to do is last 15 minutes. Issei kind of grins with this evilish smile. Now, of course, where the girl was kind of confused and shocked to see Issei kind of smiling with this evilish grin. This is where she then thought about what he was going to do. Issei starts booking it, starts running. This is where he jumps over, what's it called, mostly the fence. And of course, he did kind of jump over the fence of the school, and this is where, well, he said, well, fuck it. This is where Issei is much faster, well, thinking he's much faster than the girl, which, when she saw how Issei just kind of jumped out the fence, but thinking that, well, he's not actually going home that much, Issei is going to show up at the last couple of seconds of 6-hour class. The reason why is because if he shows up kind of last, and then the teacher can't really complain to him because she would just say, God damn it. But yeah, Issei, he's trying to kill enough time so it can become at least 1 minute. Then he shows up to class and says, yo, what's up? Bye. But yeah. But of course, well, we go into about like 5 minutes later. And of course, this is where Issei, he's right now kind of just near, well, the kind of courtyard of, well, school. And of course, this is where, well, Issei is kind of near, what's it called, mostly the tennis kind of like courtyard, but yeah. Issei is kind of just trying to hide away from what's called the girl who keep chasing him. Now, of course, her name is Valeria, or mostly Valerie, but of course, mostly for short, they call her just Vali, but yeah. Issei, on the other hand, usually isn't trying to get bothered by any of the three, or mostly the 3 popular girls. The 4th one won't like, isn't kind of pop. Well, I mean, she is, but she doesn't bother in chasing matters with, what's it called, perverts or any of that shit. Now, Issei, he just doesn't want to be bothered right now. He's tired. He really doesn't care. He was training yesterday until it actually became like, what's it called, 4 o'clock. Then he passed out, but yeah. So well, Issei is just waiting. It's been 10 minutes. It's still like 10 minutes left. That's where Issei says, damn it. This is gonna be a bother. This is where, well, he hears someone was about to tackle him, which Issei just dodges to the left. And this is where, well, it was none other than a guy with blondish hair. And of course, having, well, eyes of, well, He had kind of darkish blonde hair, kind of short, and also had kind of these bluish eyes. And he tries to tackle Issei down, but Issei, he noticed who it was, and it was none other than Sanji trying to tackle him down. Now, of course, Issei sighs, but of course he dodges, or mostly not even dodges, he kind of just steps to the left, and of course makes Sanji smash into the pool that was mostly next to Issei. Issei's like, eesh, shit, you should have realized that I was standing next to a pole. Whatever. This is where Issei realized that he was almost surrounded by a couple of people that he realized. It's mostly the council, or the whole school council. This is where Issei says, oh, god damn it. This is where, well, mostly the school council is considered a bunch of girls, except for Sanji. Sanji's just still a dude. This is where, Sanji says, oh, my face, son of a bitch. You pervert. You should have just stand still. Also, you should realize you should be in class. Issei says, I have 10 more minutes left. Fuck off. I should make that 9 minutes left. All I have to do is just get there when it's 1 minute. Don't worry. I'll be getting there in like 8 minutes. This is where Sanji glares at him. He tries to grab Issei again, but this is where Issei, he just decides to kind of like move away from Sanji. Now, Issei isn't really showing any impressive skills. It's mostly he's kind of doing the lazy dodges just so, Sanji doesn't expect anything unnatural from him. This is where, well, Issei says, come on, dude, let me just fucking stay out. You can go bother someone else. You realize my perverted other 2 friends are right now at the Kendall class, right? This is where Sanji says, oh, those 2? Yeah, I really got them. About pretty easily. You, on the other hand, has to get to class. This is where Issei says, those idiots really got caught too easily. He thinks in his head. This is where, well, he's pretty much easily dodging Sanji. Now, the girls hasn't got in, well, mostly involved with Sanji or Issei. But this is where Issei says, dude, come on, let me just... This is where he looks at his watch again and realizes, 7 more minutes, man, come on, let me... This is where, well, Sanji was about to grab him from the face, but this is where Issei managed to dodge. Now, of course, Sanji is just showing off what's it called. His impressive skill for being a normal human. He isn't trying to show that he's a devil just yet. He doesn't know if Issei knows anything about supernatural. But Issei, on the other hand, is just dodging. He doesn't really want, what's it called, to be grabbed by a dude. This is where Issei says, this is kind of gay, right? You trying to grab me is really gay, man. This is where Sanji stops and realizes this is kind of gay. This is where Issei says, come on, man. How about you go touch a girl? Because I will show that you're not gay. This is where Sanji says, I guess you're right. This is where, well, Issei looks at his clock again, mostly his watch, and keeps seeing that it's kind of going down, mostly the timer. This is where, well, it's right now like 6:45. This is where, well, Issei, well, mostly the timer's like 6:45 minutes right now that he has left for class. This is where he starts trying to like ramble on for Sanji to kind of distract him with a lot of questions. And this is where Sanji is kind of trying to answer them. This is where, well, Issei is just making like fucking impossible questions for anyone to just answer. This is where, well, the girls are kind of getting flustered because they know what Issei is saying. He's saying mostly how big would blah blah blah, how many girls have you touched, blah 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 blah. He's just going on, mostly saying perverted questions, but mostly kind of distracting Sanji. Now, of course, he kind of heard of these questions from his 2 perverted friends. Just because he's not a pervert himself, he doesn't actually have any like magazines or any of that plus 18 stuff in his like room. Instead, in his room, it's just completely different, but yeah, than original canon. He's kind of just telling Sanji this, that, this, that, this, that, this, that, and this, that. This is where Sanji, who is a pervert, who I think he's a closet pervert, or no, I think he was actually a pervert. But this is where, well, he's right now kind of understanding. This is where, well, Issei says, you got any girls that like you, except for the president? This is where, well, Sanji is like going on saying, he doesn't know how to understand, answer that question. Issei then looks at his clock again and realizes it's almost it's like 4:45 minutes left from his, what's it called, time for him to leave. This is where when it hits 3 o'clock, he's running, or mostly 3 minutes, he's going to just start booking it to his class. This is where, well, Sanji says, well, about that, he just coughs and trying to clean out his throat, saying, well, even though the president doesn't like me, I'll make sure I make a good expression, and then what's it called? Improvement expression about how I'm a genius and bronze and brass, how I'm muscular at the same time I'm smart. That's why Issei says, yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, you know you should start hitting those books. This is where, well, Issei actually says start hitting those books, and this is where Sanji just realized what Issei is starting to do. After, mostly Issei said not to start hitting the books. Mostly, he says, how about you just go start hitting the books? Don't worry, I'll stay here. And don't worry, you come back here and answer some of my questions. This is where Sanji says, yeah, you're right. This is where Sanji starts walking away. And this is where the girl's sweat drops after realizing that Sanji just got tricked by Issei, who Issei managed to manipulate himself out of this way. But this is where, well, Sanji just realized what he was doing. He then turns around and sees Issei already booking it. Issei starts trying to just run. He says, fuck, 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 fuck. This is where, well, Issei just starts running. This is where the girl's sweat drops and just look at him with just widened eyes and saying, really? You just let him go. Sanji said, fuck! Get back here, Issei! This is where Issei said, no. Issei looks at his timer and it's 3 minutes now. 3 minutes left to go. This is where Issei decides to kind of, well, dodge what's it called, Sanji's attempts from actually getting him. This is where Issei kind of just like, well, mostly grab onto like mostly these, what's it called, the fence? What's it called, the baseball? And of course he starts just climbing and of course getting on the top, jumps over mostly the fence of baseball, because yeah. This is where Sanji does the same. Issei is right now trying to outrun him, just trying to run, well, mostly outrun the time until he gets his 7 hour, because he likes his 7 hour, he hates 6 and 5th. But yeah, this is where, well, it's going on for such a long time that Issei is making sure that he's boosting himself a little bit, but little by little. But of course, Drake isn't kind of like helping him out with this. This is where Issei's hair starts kind of glowing a little bit blue. But it's not that much to be noticed with. He's mostly using something else. This is where Issei is trying to make sure that Sanji doesn't catch up with him or get him. Because if he does, he's going to have to stay in class 2 minutes late. This is where, well, almost 2 minutes from his 1 minute. This is where Issei says, damn, son of a bitch. Damn it, when is he ever going to give up? So Sanji is right now chasing after Issei, thinking that Issei is going to give up sometime later. This is where, well, this is mostly they've been jumping over what's it called, courtyards of different like sports, and of course, this is where, well, the girls are kind of meeting up where they're kind of what's it called, mostly president and the vice president, and also the white hair kind of like, well, white hair kind of girl, mostly silver hair girl. And of course, this is where they're just seeing what's it called, Issei managed to outrun, well, Sanji and easily jump over courses. Now, of course, this is where most of the girls are kind of shocked to see Issei doing this, because Issei doesn't really show any athletic skills. Issei is just jumping over, making sure that he is going to get out of here alive, meaning if he has to use some of his skills. This is where, well, Issei does not want, what's it called, Sanji to grab him. And Sanji can't even use his sacred gear to try to grab Issei because, first of all, it would just show up a lot of questions. A lot of confusing questions. This is where, well, Issei said, how many minutes? 1 minute! This is where Issei just realized it hit 1 minute, but it would be 2 minutes because he only subtracted 1 minute, because that 1 minute that he needs to go will have to just be after this 1 minute. This is where, Issei, he starts kind of like still outrunning Sanji. Sanji's kind of getting tired. Of course, he's not showing it. He's trying to show off to the girls and even what's it called, Sona, that he's managing to keep up with Issei, the pervert. But Issei's stamina is pretty good from the fact that he kind of was outrunning mostly what's it called, his two perverted friends from the Kendo class, and that usually gave him a great stamina kind of training. But yeah, this is where, well, Issei kind of then realized that finally it's been 1 second, 1 second left, and this is where his timer has finally rang out. I am the storm that is approach. Yes, his timer, or mostly his alarm thing is what's it called, the bury the light within me from what's it called, Devil May Cry 5. This is where Issei just said yes. This is where, well, Issei then kind of just like turns around. See Sanji? Sanji was about to grab him, of course tackling, but him really being tired. That's where Issei behind him was actually like a wall. But of course, this is where Sanji thinks he's about to like corner Issei, until Issei just swiftly like, what's it called, dodges, well, Sanji. Mostly, he kind of like what's it called, spins and dodges what's it called, Sanji pretty easily. Right now, running past him, and this is where Sanji says, "Wait, what?" He smashes his face into the wall. This is where Issei starts giggling, laughing, saying, "Dumbass! Ha! Now he definitely just has to get to class." This is where Issei, he actually managed to kind of, realize that there's a bunch of girls blocking the exit that he came from, until he sees what's it called, mostly a ladder, and mostly him getting onto a second level. But yeah, this is where Issei says, "It's gonna be risky, but fuck it." Issei starts kind of running towards, the ladder, or mostly the railing ladder or whatever. But it was just like some kind of, what's it called, to get towards like a second platform, to kind of, mostly the second platform had, what's it called, air conditioners. But yeah, Issei, he kind of gets to the ladder, kind of starts climbing that shit, and this is where all of them looks confused in what he was doing. This is where Issei, he then jumps on one of the air conditioner kind of like boxes, and just try to jump over, mostly jump on top of the third, or mostly the second kind of floor, mostly the third floor, which he does, and of course just lands on the mostly top of the building, the roof. Now, of course, this is where he starts kind of climbing, mostly the kind of fence, mostly the fence kind of that's on top of there. But yeah, he gets up, he kind of gets down from the roof, mostly going down the stairs, and does get to his class. Of course, he managed to arrive at his class in 1 second, and when he opens the door, mostly the bell just rings. This is where, Issei says, "Yes, bye." This is where Issei says after he left. Yeah, he dipped. This is where everyone was just confused in what he was doing, but yeah, the teacher just realized that, Issei missed another part of class, and she would have to report him. She didn't really want to, but Issei just keeps ditching her class because Issei doesn't care. This is where Issei gets to, what's it called, 7th hour. Finally, a relief. This is where, he gets to class. He sees, what's it called, the teacher. He says, "Yo, what's good, Mr. What's it called? His name was Jin Lee. And of course, this is where, Issei says, "What's good, Mr. Jin Lee?" This is where Jin Lee says, "Hey, Issei. Well, you came here pretty early. I'm guessing you managed to ditch, what's it called, your 6th hour pretty easily." Issei says, "Nah. Actually, it was quite the opposite." Issei pulls up a chair just to talk to, what's it called, the 7th hour teacher, who was actually his favorite teacher, because it's basically robotics, which he's interested in, instead of the whole other classes. And of course, Issei just explains his wild fucking crazy story on how he managed to escape Sanji, who's from the fucking council and all them other things. This is where Mr. Jen just laughs and says, "Ha! I didn't expect that brat to actually be easily defeated by someone so lazy and being right now tired. I'm guessing you stayed up the whole night doing something. So tell me, were you being a pervert or something, or were you just training?" He does know Issei does train, and he knows that Issei trains with the sword, because he has seen Issei, catching him sometimes when Issei isn't like working on robotics, and some like students already start leaving, and after school, Issei just kind of trains with kind of like a wooden kind of like piece of like thin wooden thing. He just practices pretty easily, and he does manage to catch Issei doing it sometimes. When Issei was kind of hearing music, he doesn't really like hear anyone or coming or anything. He's mostly hearing music. This is where, he's just practicing. He always thought that Issei would be interested in the Kendo class. Issei says, "Not really. I just don't care that much." This is where, mostly the teacher didn't really care about Issei doing something like that. It's mostly if he doesn't like hurt any of the machines that's there. Issei understands, but yeah. This is where, Issei says, "But I'm still tired. Being attacked by Sanji, and also being bothered by that one of the 3, or mostly one of the 4 kind of females of the school, is quite bothering." This is where, the teacher says, "Huh, well, are you gonna go to your, mostly place, your station, to finish your robotic?" This is where Issei says, "Oh yeah, that's right. I only have a little bit of stuff before I tweak it enough to see of my perfection." So, is the, this is where he asked the teacher if the, testing room is alright, or is someone using it. This is where, the robotic teacher says, pretty much no one's using it right now, but if you manage to finish, you can go use it. This is where, he says, "Yes, Is there Issei was about to get towards what they call his like testing kind of room. There's mostly these testing rooms, or well, not testing room. It's mostly these stations that most students have. Some of them have to just be outside to kind of build a robotics with what's it called, some of their friends, group project or whatever. Issei does that alone. He doesn't like anyone. This is where then he just doesn't want to show anyone that he's actually smart. Except for his teacher. His teacher already knows that Issei is talented. He is smart, clever, a genius, and also very manipulated. Now, of course, he knows that Issei manipulates everyone in the entire school, even his two friends, that he's a pervert and useless and, well, mostly not that smart. Issei, on the other hand, is just a fucking manipulator who managed to kind of manipulate the whole system to show that he's that, but really in reality, he's a genius. He's a genius who doesn't have, like, family or anything. This is where, Issei, he gets to his station. Of course, first putting on some earbuds, well, mostly, like, headphones and all that. He, like, pulls out headphones from, what's it called, like, a drawer and all that. Puts them on, and of course, start turning them on until, well, they hear mostly this kind of, knock. And that's where the teacher says, it's open, you can come in. This is where who came in was none other than a silver-haired girl with goldenish eyes. And of course, her bust size being really big. And of course, well, not that big, but just big enough. And of course, this is where next to her was a black-haired female with kind of these, like, what's it called? Well, mostly a black hair, short kind of like hairstyle with what's it called, reddish eyes. And of course, wearing the school uniform. The other one didn't really wears the school uniform, but mostly it's one of the two out of the other four. This is where Issei widened his eyes and just shocked and why they came here. This is where Issei right now just tries to ignore them by mostly putting on his headphones, just walking to a station because he needs to work on it because he really wants to finish to show off his invention, and does take pictures if he wants to actually go into university. Pretty much his goal is just to live normally and not be bothered by any devils, fallen angels, or anything. Pretty much he doesn't care. Unless people just disturb and piss him off from his goals, he will annihilate anyone. He doesn't care. This is where, Issei then sees both of them and realizes that this is probably a bad idea. He starts putting on music. The song he's listening to is called... Now, the song that he's hearing is called Long Live the King. It's mostly a Godzilla rap made by Nerd Out. Now, if you have heard about it, yes, he's hearing right now that song with having what's it called, Godzilla's a sacred gear. Don't worry about that. But this is where, Issei, he's just hearing music, and of course he's walking to the station until the teacher asked to the two ladies, saying, "So, what are you doing here, President Council and also Valerie?" This is where, the two of them says that we're here for Hyoto. This is where Issei says he's just ignoring all of them, just like hearing music and just not caring that much. This is where Issei says, da, 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 long live the king, da, da, da. He just doesn't care. This is where, Drake says, damn kid, it seems that you finally got karma for just leaving that class. Issei says, oh shut up, screw that class. Besides, there's way too many females in that class. I'm not going to that class, screw that. That's why Issei doesn't go to his 6 hour. Not because it's just history. Well, it is one of the reasons. But mostly that class is full of females that don't really like him. So that's why he doesn't show up to that class. He doesn't care. Unlike his two perverted friends, who would have loved to show up to that class every single day, Issei doesn't do that. This is where, Issei's kind of is going to a station. And this is where, Sona says, Kyoto, I know you can hear me. I know you haven't put your headphones all the way that loud. Issei takes him off, and of course, you can literally hear the song right now just blasting into, mostly into the headphones. This is where, Issei says, huh, you said something? This is where, Sona says, so he was blasting his music. This is where Issei says, sorry, I can't really talk. I need to finish something. This is where, Issei said, I need to go. This is where, Issei kind of goes to finish off his project. But of course, this is where Sona says, Hyoto Issei, you need to come to the office right now. This is where Issei's sweat drops in annoyed. This is where Issei says, "Sure, I'll be there. Let me take about the whole hour and then I'll show up after school." This is where, well, Sona says, "No, now." Issei says, "Fine." Issei takes off his headphones, turns them off, and of course, this is where he puts them back in the drawer, which no one should actually know the drawer and all that, or mostly open or anything. He locks it back with a key and gives it back to, well, the teacher. The teacher says, "Don't worry, kid. I'll make sure no one takes it." Issei says, "Yeah." Issei is going with them. This is where he pulls out earbuds and starts putting them in his ear, and this is where he's hearing music. Now, of course, both of them sweat drops because, god damn it, Issei seems to... He is the pervert king. He's supposed to be like the pervert leader, but Issei doesn't show to be too much. He seems different from both of those two. More restrained. But of course, this is where, well, or just mostly likely not to give a shit that much. Issei is getting to the council room and all them other things, and when he walks in, he can see Ria Scrummery, which, first of all, that's just shocking. Why is she here? And also the teacher. Now, of course, he understands the teacher because she might be already annoyed and pissed, and the fact that Issei keeps missing her class. It's been just so many days. Issei kind of shows up sometimes, not many times, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei, he does note that you just gotta show up to class just to reset your kind of strikes, but yeah, he kind of saw that in the Bubba rule, or mostly one of the rules that was very far down. But of course, Sona didn't ever expect that Issei would abuse something like this. This is where, well, Issei sat down right now, well, mostly across from, what's it called, Sona. He's also sitting far from the teacher and what's it called, Reyes Creamery. And also from the other side would be what's it called, mostly from Reyes Creamery's kind of view, it's none other than Tatsubaki or whatever her name is. And of course from the teacher is, well, Valerie, what's it called, yeah, Valerie. This is where, well, Sona says, "I'm here to talk to you, Issei, if you can take off your earbuds." Issei, who takes off one of them, puts it there, and of course, where Issei, he kind of like puts it like, what's it called, left ear towards his, like, what's it called, left ear? Mostly his left hand towards his left ear. Says, "Yeah, I can hear you." This is where Issei's joking because he doesn't really want to hear any of this bullshit. This is where Sona says, "Can you please take them both off? I know you're still having one." This is where, well, Issei says, "Fine." He takes it off, and of course puts it in his ear, well, mostly in the case. And of course, this is where he pauses the music and says, "What? What do you want?" This is where, well, Issei seems to be really tired, not really wanting to do with this bullshit that much, but yeah. Issei Hyodo, right now Sona said. This is where Issei says, "Yeah," with this kind of boring-ass expression. This is where, well, she says, "For your kind of, well, actions today, I will be having to, well, suspend you for about 3 days." Issei in his head say, "Fuck yeah!" Issei wants a fucking break from the school. This might have been Monday, but fuck this shit. This is where, well, Issei says, "Oh no, this seems to be bad. How would my parents feel about them? Shit." This is where Issei is trying to act, and he's actually putting on a good performance. But of course, all of them thought that seriously. Most of the teachers said, "If we didn't actually know about this, he has done this multiple times." This is where, well, Issei has done this multiple times. And of course, Issei, he's going to wonder if they finally caught on, because they're not saying anything. This is where, well, Sona said also, "It seems that, well, you managed to, well, ditch your 6 hours so many times that we're going to remove that one rule that you managed to abuse most of the time." Issei said, "Which one?" "I don't know what you're talking about anyway. I don't really read the rules. Just like any normal pervert like me, I don't read any rules. I just hear rumors." This is where, well, Sona knows damn well that it's not a rumor because, well, she made sure that her council, like, members made sure not to tell anyone to actually read all the rules. But of course, this is where, well, she narrowed her eyes and say, "Who told you then?" This is where Issei says, "I can't remember. It was just some person that managed to spread that rumor. And I thought that was fake, but then I realized it was true." Issei, he knows that's complete bullshit because he was the only one to reach so far into the rules. It was like, what's it called? Rule 100 and, well, 199, because there's about so many rules, but Issei just read through them pretty easily. And this is where, well, Sona says, I refuse to believe that someone in this school managed to read all the way to 199. So tell me, how did you, well, decide to have so much time in your life to kind of read all the way to 199? Issei says, I don't know what you're talking about. Clearly, I really don't know what you're talking about. Clearly, Issei does know what she's actually talking about, but Issei's just trying to play dumb so she wouldn't caught on. But yeah, this is where, well, Issei just looked at her with this kind of boring ass expression look. But yeah, this is where, well, she narrowed her eyes very deadly and just says, really? Okay. So you are going to be suspended for 3 days, Issei, and I will be calling your parents. Issei says, sure, go ahead, he said in his mindscape. Drake says, what parents? This is where Issei says, what parents? His dead ones? Yeah, you can go try to talk to them like underneath 6 feet in the fucking ground, or even further down there. Issei says, exactly, I don't understand why. You keep calling them thinking that they will show up. Luckily for me, I managed to make someone else be that whole problem. Oh god. So well, Sona can see that Issei can really care less, but of course well, she says, okay, Issei, Yodo, I know damn well that you don't have parents. Issei kind of narrowed his eyes, wondering when the fuck did she find out, but yeah, because, well, it's clearly pointless to call parents that he doesn't have. It clearly shown because he only put the names of his parents, mostly being the guardians, but really Issei is the one by himself. And of course, where Issei made a whole bullshit saying that they're right now on vacation, or not on vacation, they're mostly overseas most of the time. And of course, he puts like some random phone number from America to just, if they ever need a call, it just goes to straight to voicemail. But yeah, it's just some random like phone number that's discontinued. But yeah, that's where Issei says, oh no, really? That would be pretty much really bad. That's where, well, Issei said, but I do have parents. They're just overseas most of the time, Sona. I can't believe someone from like a president class, you would tell someone that they don't have parents. That's pretty fucked up. This is where Sona says, that would be fucked up if, well, it was a lie. It's truly the first, well, mostly the truth. You've been living alone, being, well, making sure that that phone number that was overseas after finding research has been discontinued with none other than a old manufacturing workplace. You managed to get the information, managing to kind of just put it on the whole system thing. That's where Issei said, I have no clue what you're talking about, Issei said. Well, if that's all the case, if I'm really suspended, Issei stood up and says, I'ma leave. This is where, well, Sanji says, oh no you don't, grabs Issei from the shoulder and pushes him back down. This is where Issei says, you know this is really fucking gay, man. Why the hell are you touching me? This is where Sanji says, oh shut up, brat. Well, he says not brat, oh shut up, pervert. This is where, well, Issei says, dude, I don't swing this way. Truly, I don't swing this way. This is truly odd for, well, a meeting. Why am I really caught here? There's clearly more than what's it called, meets the eye. This is where, well, Issei started kind of getting annoyed, but yeah. This is where Sona says, also, you're going to be here helping Rias, because even though you're suspended, you're going to be also helping Rias here in her kind of club. Issei looks at them right now with these emotionless eyes. He does know that Rias is a fucking devil. And Issei said, yeah, fuck no. I'd rather be suspended. I'd rather be fucking thrown in jail. I'd rather be anywhere than with her. This is where Rias says, what the fuck did I do? This is where Sona says, that is true. What the hell did she ever do to you? This is where, well, Issei says, well, other than that, he stands up, and of course Sanji tries to grab his mostly shoulders, mostly his, like, well, shoulder arms, but of course, this is where Issei managed to grab both of them, well, mostly both of Sanji's, and kind of pull him closer before grabbing him from the face and actually throwing him down to the ground. Now, of course, that's smashing his face into the ground, but mostly just making sure that Sanji already knew his fucking place. Issei overpowered him so swiftly and fast. This is where, well, Issei says, whatever than that, I'm leaving. I'll take my 3 days of suspension, I won't be coming back. Fuck that. This is where, well, Rias is kind of worried if Issei already knows about the supernatural. This is where, well, she kind of glances towards the Sona and, well, Valerie. This is where, well, the teacher, she doesn't really know, but of course, she did kind of request the student council to kind of move Issei to another class. Even though she kind of likes Issei when he actually turns into his work, because when she does notice that Issei does turn his work pretty late from the others, but his work is actually really detailed enough with a bunch of history. Issei doesn't truly hate history that much, history class. It's just the fact that he doesn't want anyone to know about his like skills and grade and other things. He does know some topics he listened to, but really when it comes to anything else, like group project, he will try to just not do it. But yeah. Now of course, well, she's saddened, but of course, this is where, well, Sona does understand that, well, the teacher does need him to be moved, and of course, a girl replacing Issei for Issei to go into another class. But yeah, this is where Issei was put in a different class after 3 days, but yeah, we go into Issei right now being at the house. Issei is right now training in his kind of backyard. This is where he's right now using a kendo sword, mostly a kind of bamboo kind of sword, and of course swinging it down, and easily, well, having a target right now in front of him, just a wooden target, and of course he's swinging his sword so swiftly, easily, and knocking out the target, cutting his head even though it's a bamboo sword. This is where Issei, he's sweat dropping, he's right now just sweating, and of course, where, well, someone says, yo Issei. Issei turns around and turns to see, well, somewhat of a friend of his, well, kind of, mostly someone that he kind of knows. Mostly he's also a second year of, what's it called, the same class, but yeah, or mostly from a different class, but just same grade. This is where it's none other than Kiba. Kiba, well, what's it called, YouTuber. Now, of course, Kiba does know about Issei's true personality. Issei does not like showing off his true personality, but Kiba's the only one, and of course, mostly Kiba's also the only one to actually bring out his true anger and personality. Now, of course, they have met each other a couple times at school. The only reason Issei kind of is friends with Kiba, and a little bit, or not Kiba, no, it's not Kiba, it's, what's it called? Someone else that, well, has, well, mostly it wasn't Kiba, it was someone else with kind of like this goldenish hair, and of course had reddish eyes. Now, of course, this golden spiky hair kind of just, with, mostly kind of looks similar towards Issei's black hair, but of course, where Issei says, what do you want, what's it called, Yoshin. His name is Yoshin. This is where, well, Yoshin says, hey Issei, I just came here to see how strong my rival should be. Huh. How strong? I wonder how strong. Well, you want to fight me or something? Maybe. Are you still going to that pathetic human school or something? You realize since we are kind of like a descendant tribe of, what's it called, dwarfs who worship the kanjis and managed to get the power of the titans, I'm surprised that you go to such a pathetic school full of nothing but devils and angels and fallen angels. Couldn't be me. Oh, I'm sorry. If it wasn't for my fucking other, well, you know what, I would have, well, not really. You see here, the only reason why I go to the school is just to get a good education. Other than that, everyone else can fuck off. There's some quite annoying people, some people, I don't really like anyone that much. This is where Yoshin smiles and says, still, you're quite pathetic for actually going to that school. Can't you just learn it by yourself, the knowledge? This is where Issei says, yeah, but I guess you're right. I don't know why I enrolled at school. Fuck it. When I turn 18, I'm dropping out. This is where Yoshin smiles and says, ha, idiot. This is where, well, Issei says, if I'm such an idiot, then let's see who's stronger. Issei's hair started kind of glowing with a bluish color. This is where Yoshin says, yeah, let's see. Yoshin's entire body starts crackling with this goldenish lightning. This is where, well, Issei said, I'm going to make sure I kick your ass. This here Yoshin says, bring it on, Issei. This is where they both have this evilish, just grin of mass destruction going upon. This is where we go into, well, mostly someone walking and, of course, well, being attacked by a fallen angel. Now, of course, this is where 3 fallen angels appear attacking this person. Now, of course, it's none other than what's it called. Who's being attacked is someone who has a sacred gear, but of course, she's mostly going to be attacked and try to be killed and turned into Ria's pawn. Now, of course, where, well, Rias is standing near some trees, mostly seeing what's it called, or mostly Ria, Sona, and Valerie are right now watching this, and yes, they have what's it called, their queens. But of course, where, well, they're watching this, and of course, where Valerie says, I don't know why I had to ask my sister to come along and just go and be a spy. I hate my father for even asking her. This is where, well, Sona and Ria says, oh, come on, it'd be good. Besides, we couldn't get Issei to join, even though we can see that he's a little bit more skilled than normal. And he seems not to like devils that much. This is where, well, Ria says, yeah, even though we can barely feint his magic, it seems to be human level magic, but it seems to be a little bit stronger and reinforced. This is where, well, Valerie says, and we gotta kill this person just so they can be loyal to you, Rias. Can't you just ask them? Ria says, don't worry, I know how to do this mostly. Besides, nothing can ruin this plan of mine. This is where, well, Ria is grinning, and this is where Akano says, yeah, I thought I was sadistic, Akano kind of said. This is where, well, they switch off by Rias, but something happens. An explosion between 2 powers are right now fighting. This is where, well, Issei appears out of that explosion of power, and this is where the fallen angels are confused. Even what's it called, the sacred girl mostly, she's confused, but she sees Issei. Now, Issei's hair is right now igniting with a bluish color. This is where, well, Issei's clothes are also different, as you mentioned. He's wearing kind of these black clothing, of course, with a black hood, and of course, just wear a black pants, with like these like black kind of pants that has like a bunch of pockets in them, but yeah, and black shoes. And of course, to the opposite side is this person who has what's it called, like a suit on, and right now his hair is kind of going up, being more brighter yellow, and of course, crackling yellow lightning is appearing, and of course, he has red eyes. But of course, where, well, he then puts his what's it called left hand out, or not his left hand out, his right hand out, and says, King Goro, Kanji. Well, mostly Titan, or let me actually remember their name. This is where he says, King Goro, Kajiu. This is where a gear appears right in his right hand, being a golden gauntlet with a red kind of like gem, but it's a crystal red gem that has multiple spikes, as you mentioned, on the gauntlet. This is where, well, he's laughing at Issei. Issei, on the other hand, right now says, Godzilla, Kaiju. This is where, well, his right arm also exploded with a black gear, like a, what's it called, black armor gear, that has also multiple spikes, but of course has a, well, a gem in it, but it's kind of like a, like, shape as a diamond gem, like, what's it called, this one right here, not circle, but yeah. This is where, well, he then looks at what's it called, well, Yoshin, and Yoshin says, huh, so I see you're getting serious, Issei. Show me what the power you have. This is where, well, Yoshin rushes at Issei with this like lightning crackling from his hand, sending that at Issei. Issei dodges super easily. This is where Issei, right now his mouth ignited with a bluish color. This is where Issei says, Atomic Ignite, Obliteration. This is where he ignited with a bluish mouth substance from his mouth, almost hitting what's it called, Yoshin. Yoshin managed to dodge when wings spread out from his back. This is where Yoshin is smiling, saying, fight me, Issei. Show me what you have. This is where, well, Issei said, I'll show you what you can believe in. But I ain't going to back down for you being a little bitch and flying and actually dodging that attack. Yoshin says, I'm not stupid to just be falling for your manipulating tricks. Truly, it's stupid. I'm not falling for that stupid trick. That atomic blast would have annihilated me if it wasn't for the fact that I'm not an idiot. So show me what you can do, Issei. This is where Issei says, Yoshin! This is where, well, another, what's it called, his hair started kind of glowing into a bluish color. This is where, well, Yoshin's, like, body starts crackling with more lightning. And this is where, well, Yoshin says, triple-headed, mostly he says, twin-headed dragon attachment. This is where two lightning dragons heads actually appear next to Yoshin. This is where Yoshin starts sending them at Issei and tries to eat him. This is where Issei is dodging right, left, down, up, down. This is where, well, he's trying to dodge. Mostly he's just dodging them for a second. This is where both of the heads just rush at him with full speed. And this is where Issei says, oh no you don't. Atomic blast! This is where, well, another blast sent from his mouth to try to push the two heads, which he just annihilate them in an instant. And this is where, well, Yoshin just goes cough. He just scoffs and says, damn it, you bastard. I won't die. I am part of a good tribe. Well, mostly a very powerful tribe that worship that of King Godo. And King Godo is more powerful than Godzilla. This is where, well, Issei grins and says, yeah, right. I might be a great descendant to that, might be a good descendant to the worship of Godzilla, and he shows to be more powerful than you. What is a god to a king? Or what he says, what is a king to a god? This is where, well, Yoshin says, huh, what's it called? God to a non-believer. This is where, well, Issei grins, just saying, oh, you're gonna regret that. This is where Yoshin says, bring it on, motherfucker. This is where, well, they're right now crackling. Their powers are just exploding from their bodies. This is where, well, Issei says, Red Dragon Emperor. This is where Red Gauntlet appears, like original canon. This is where, well, this is where Drake says, I'm guessing you want boost. Yep. I'm going to annihilate this little flying lizard. This is where, well, Drake doesn't want to say that he also has wings, which he does. This is where, well, King, what's it called? Mostly, Yoshin says, I'm going to kill you, bastard! This is where, now, what's it called? He goes into, well, more crackling lightning around him. This is where he then sends, what's it called, the lightning up to heaven. And, of course, mostly a dark sky appears. This is where he says, Holy heaven, lightning strike of God, mostly, he says, King Godo's wrath strike. This is where, well, a giant bolt of lightning was striking down towards Issei. This is where Issei says, boost times 10. This is where the godlet says, boost, boost, boost. Boost, 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 boost. You get the point, right? Of course, this is where, well, Issei kind of, right now, puts the boost towards, well, mostly his hair. This is where his hair does kind of ignite with a bluish color, but now with a greenish color. And this is where it went to a tealish color. And this is where Issei says, Atomic Annihilation Blast. He sends it from his mouth, and this is where the attack right now clashes with the kind of wrath of King Godo's kind of lightning strike. And this is where, well, Yoshin says, I'm not losing, Issei. You're not. Damn it. Just give up, Issei. This is where, well, Issei says, fuck you. This is where, well, the blast managed to destroy what's called the attack. And this is where, well, Yoshin says, son of a. This is where, well, Issei says, I'm not done yet. This is where, well, Issei right now says, boost times 5. This is where, boost, 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 boost. This is where, well, Issei's, well, mostly Issei kind of, Godzilla Gauntlet kind of just transformed. This is where he says, Godzilla, breaking a wrath. This is where, well, mostly breaking armor, breaking, well, mostly it was like balance breaker, but it was called breaking wrath. This is where, well, Issei transformed into a black shade of armor. Of course, his gauntlet, his red gauntlet, is covered up with the Godzilla's kind of power, but yeah. Mostly transformed into this looking, but yeah. And this is where, well, he then kind of shows his bluish eyes kind of glaring at, well, Yoshin. Yoshin smiles and says, so, you want to show me your true power? I know you're still holding back, Issei. You haven't shown me what true power you have. Well, Issei isn't kind of like going into the armor just yet. This is where Issei said, me? Show you off power? Yeah, that ain't happening. Instead, this is where Issei says, Godzilla Katana. This is where a katana appears from his gauntlet. And this is where, well, Issei just, well, what's it called, made the red gauntlet disappear. But this is where he kind of pulls out the sword, mostly the sword out of the sheath. And this is where it shows a black, like a black, what's it called, obsidian color blade, but then it ignited into blue flames. This is where Issei says, you see here, I'm going to take you out, even if I have to cut all 3 of your damn heads. This is where, Yoshin then laughs and says, fine, the makes you stronger. Just where, Yoshin pulls out a blade that has 3 blades in total, and of course they're kind of, mostly purely white, but has a yellow streak of them. Mostly a yellow streak through the blades, but yeah. This is where it has the golden handle, and says, bring it on, Issei! He right now swings the sword down, with what's called his right arm that has the gauntlet, while Issei kind of swing his sword up. This is where both of their powers are right now clashing. This is where Issei has this, like, mad-looking grin of just this exciting battle. He's just been hoping for someone to battle him to the max point for him to evolve. This is where, Yoshi on the other hand has also been, like, waiting for this battle. This is where an explosion of power actually kind of happens. Mostly a collide. This is the fallen angels are right now terrified of Issei and Yoshin. This is where, when it's all over, this is where Issei has his katana right now dripping with blood, while Yoshin feels like he got cut. Son of a bitch! Damn it. Why couldn't you pick a great big sword? Why did you make that katana instead? Because, how else would I make the second katana? This is where, Issei had a second katana next to him, and this is where it was held by the gauntlet, but it was a little bit shorter. It was a medium katana. The other sword, mostly the actual katana, had to be a little bit bigger, but yeah, a little bit bigger than a normal katana. This is where, Yoshin says, fuck you. He passed out. This is where, Issei chuckles and says, yeah, go fuck yourself. This is where, a cut actually appears on Issei's shoulder. This is where Issei says, blood. Bastard. Couldn't at least let me leave without a scratch. Whatever. Issei goes to kind of get Yoshin until Light Spears actually tries to attack Issei, and Issei easily cuts him down. Issei then looks at the fallen angels. This is where Issei says, you're pissing me off. Bow down to a god. This is where a pressure of magic appears on the fallen angels, and he smashed down to the ground in an instant. This is where, Issei was about to annihilate them at once. Annihilation Atomic Blast. This is where, Issei didn't hold back. He annihilated 2 of them, and the last one was a girl who's named Yumi. This is where, Issei, he just killed the other 2 just because it seemed to be a bother, but he did notice Yumi. This is where Issei kind of crouched down and says, hey, fallen angel, also known as Yumi. You know, if I kill you, your sister, Valerie or whatever, I know she'll be extremely pissed and sad. I don't care. She's been pissing me off the whole day. This is where, he says, you should say goodbye, because I'm gonna just annihilate you. This is where, Issei was about to do Atomic Blast until divide! This is where, Issei jumps back and says, what the hell? Drake says, oh shit, it's none other than Albion, the white dragon. This is where Valerie appears. This is where she says, I'm not letting you touch my sister. This is where Issei sighs and says, okay, Drake, I need you to times boost 500. This is where Valerie wanted her eyes, and even what's called Yumi. And this is where, Drake says, you know that's bullshit. I know you're just lying for that. Just to scare the fuck out of them. Of course, I'm just doing that for fucking jokes. What do you think I was going to actually kill her? I noticed that you people were actually right now kind of, oh no, being over there at the trees. Issei points toward the trees. This is where, the sacred girl is still scared. This is where, Issei says, hey you know damn well that you were actually about to die in a couple of seconds if it wasn't for me and my friend kind of interrupting this kind of plan. You know, if you would have died, you would have served Rhea Skirmery. Her plan was basically to try to kill you and make you her pawn and a slave. Do you want to be a slave? This is where the girl just shaked her head saying no. Good. Then I suggest you start running. Or, I don't know, fucking going away. Just go towards America. They won't bother you by kind of going towards America just to find you. This is where the girl nodded and just started kind of running home just to kind of start packing. This is where Issei just chuckles and say, ha! I love this part where I love to just mess with other people. This is where, well, Valerie and Yumi realized that Issei was basically making other people just leave. He basically just saved someone else who he doesn't know, but just tell them to move to America. Basically, the girl listened and just decided to fucking run. This is where Rias was angry and just annoyed. This is where she screams out, Issei. This is where Issei says, what? What do you want? Yeah. You not see that I saved someone from becoming your fucking slave? Yeah, you're welcome. This is where, well, Rias glares at Issei. Issei doesn't have an uncaring look. And this is where, well, Issei says, well, keep glaring at me, I'll definitely atomic blast you to hell. Oh, wait. Even if I do atomic blast you, I wonder if you're, you are kind of the princess of whatever bullshit. Name, Sir Drake or something, whatever. Or not Sir Drake, Sir Zax. Like Lucifer King or whatever that was. This is where they're winding their eyes and how he noticed that. This is where Issei says, oh, how I know that. Well, this is where Issei right now makes 2 magic circles. And of course, this is where 2 people were kind of appearing. Like forcibly kind of being teleported. This is where someone was writing paper and of course just realized where he's at. His table also got teleported. And this is where, well, someone else is kind of playing kind of like these video games, like playing Smash Bros. With, what's it called, another person with, what's it called, like, it looks like a monkey. He was playing like Smash Bros. And of course, this is where, well, they were playing on the TV and the TV was also teleported, also the next word. This is where, well, they realized where the hell they were at. And they were realized, well, mostly the guy with kind of blondish hair and black hair, kind of, he also had a suit on, or not a suit, mostly a kimono on, kind of looks to the left of himself, sees Issei, and also the guy who was right now on the table and kind of like doing paperwork, kind of looks to the, also to mostly the, well, he looks to the left while the other guy looks to the right. This is where they both see Issei, and they right now say, Issei! This is where, well, the monkey dude says, oh shit, Issei, he's pissed. What the hell? Did I forcibly got teleported? Oh shit, I gotta go. This is where, well, he just said, bye, so I'm out of here. He now tells what's it called, mostly the other player, who is now known as and says, bye, I'm out of here. He just teleports also. He's gone. He said, fuck this shit. So Azo sweat drops. He then says, can I get my game set teleport back? This is where, well, he then stood up and all that. This is where, well, Sir Zack says, yeah, can you teleport my fucking table back to my spot? Issei says, fine. This is where he does it. A blue circle appear around the, mostly the table and the game stuff, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei, before kind of teleporting them, he took what's called Azo's kind of like Nintendo Switch just to play on it for a little bit. This is where, well, what's it called? Azo just glares at him, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei just says, meh, what do you want? This is where he's sticking out his tongue, but yeah. This is where, well, Rias, Sona, and Valerie are right now just shocked to see them. Two very strong people. Mostly their leader of their own factions. This is where, well, Azo says, Valerie, Yumi, what are you two doing here? And why is Yumi to the ground like she just got smashed down to the ground? This is where, well, Azo kind of glares at Issei. And this is where, well, Sir Zack says, oh, hello there, Sona, Akano, Tatsumi, and also my dear sister. This is where, well, little Rias. This is where Rias says, Sir Zack, what are you doing here? Sir Zack says, I would like that to know that also. Issei, why did you teleport me here? This is where, well, Azo says, I would also like to wonder why I was forcibly teleported. Issei says, well... Issei says, long story short, they bothered me with my battle between my long rival here. This is where, well, Yoshin was getting up and ugh, what the fuck just happened? Fuck, I got a scar. Not again. Fuck you, you fucking black lizard. This is where, well, Issei says, yeah, screw you too, golden lizard. This is where, well, they are angry, but of course, mostly at each other. And of course, this is where Elsa says, wait, was there a battle between the kanjis? Well, mostly the kaijus? Damn it, I should have been here. Damn it, why didn't I? This is where, well, Elsa wanted to see the battle between two, what's it called? Kaijus kind of gears. Now, of course, the two kaiju gears are not made with God's power. They're mostly made by the actual creature themselves. Mostly like Kingoro kind of gave the power of like a sacred gear balanced thing towards the Kaioshin, while Godzilla also gave his own power into a gauntlet similar towards Issei's. Well, mostly to his like red dragon counterpart, but yeah. Or mostly not counterpart, mostly the red dragon. But yeah, it's mostly a part of the power, not their full power. They're not fully sealed into it. They're mostly in different places. Right now, relaxing. They realize it's too much of a bother for both of them, mostly Godzilla and Kingoro, to fight each other because they realized it would cause so much destruction. So of course they basically chose two people to just will their powers and fight each other for however long that work. This is where, well, that is the case. This is where, well, Hazel says, can you two just battle again? I want to see the battle between, well, mostly the two gears that you have, the two special gears that are pretty much mythical level at this point. Right, but I want to see how powerful you two are. This is where, well, Yoshin says, yeah, after I get healing. This is where, well, or after I recover from anything, from this fucking cut. This is where Issei says, now you're fine, let's fight me again. This is where, well, Yoshin says, no, okay, fine. Promise no booster gear? Oh no, I'm using it. I'm abusing it. I'm going to kick your ass. This is where, well, Yoshin then says, fuck you then. I'm not fucking fighting you. Well, come on. You know you don't hate it that much. Fuck you, I'm not fighting you. Fuck you too. This is where, well, as though, and Surgex kind of sweat off, but yeah. This is where, well, Surgex says, so yeah, you can see that they both have two mythical sacred gears. Because, well, the beasts that they have within those gears are only half. The actual other, or 25, well, how much is it? Issei said, I don't remember. I think it was half. This is where Yoshin says, yeah, it was only half. We barely even have a master of our powers yet. It's gonna take us forever. This is where, well, Yoshin says, but still, I believe that I will be the strongest user out of everyone of the previous. Issei says, well, since I'm the only user that ever uses this sacred gear, or mostly this type of sacred gear, I'm probably going to be the most overpowered one out of all of them, because I have Drake with me. Haha! No way in hell anyone's gonna fight me. This is where Issei gets out this evilish smile. This is where, well, Surgex and Ansel does kind of switch up, but yeah. Issei then says, so Yoshin, just explain to them about what happened and blah blah blah, right? This is where, oh, Yoshin says, well, I don't know what the hell happened afterwards. This is where Issei says, don't worry, I will explain after I'm done playing some Smash Bros. This is where, well, Issei starts playing, but this is where Elzo kind of glares at Issei, but seriously. This is where, well, Yoshin just explains a little bit of what happens, but yeah. This is where Surgex nodded, and even Elzo. Now, of course, Elzo does want to see a battle between the two kanjis again, or mostly kaijus. And of course, Surgex wants to avoid something like that ever happening again. This is where, well, Rias and what's it called, the others are still shocked that Issei does know about the two very powerful leaders of their own factions. This is where Issei is just I'm about to win, motherfucker. Yes, I'm gonna kick your ass, fucking. This is where he calls out mostly. But this is where, well, Issei says, I'm gonna kick your ass, Big-O. This is where Big-O says, no, no, no. And we go into Big-O kind of screaming out, no, 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 I'm not gonna lose. No, 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 mother. This is where, well, he lost. He says, fuck you, Issei. This is where Issei just chuckles. Fuck you too. This is where Elzo says, damn, you actually won against him? Fuck, you use even the weakest character? Son of a bitch. Now, I don't actually know which one's the weakest character again, but yeah. This is where Issei says, haha. Because I'm a god. This is where, well, Elzo says, yeah, Brett. I understand. Don't be cocky. Issei says, yeah, whatever. Crow. This is where, well, Elzo kind of glares at him, but yeah. This is where, well, Surgex says, well, we should probably repair the damage, unless Issei wants to. Issei says, well, by the time he just goes to sleep, bye. Issei says, I'm still suspended for 3 days, so good luck in talking to everyone here. When I'm suspended, I can't get to school. Bye. This is where Issei teleports and disappears. Yoshin says, yeah, I'm out of here also. He makes a circle and he disappears, but yeah, magical. Like, it's goldenish with crackling yellow lightning. This is where he teleports and gone. This is where, well, Elzo says, They left us here. Surge X says, yep. Well, we're going to have to fix this. Alzo, where are you going? Alzo says, well, I'm gonna go. This is not my problem that much. Truly, it's your sister, well, mostly your little sister's fault, because clearly they were trying to kill some sacred gear girl user. So it's not my plan. So I'm out of here. This is where, well, Sir Sex says, you know it's your daughter's fault also, right? For even going along with this. Sir Elsa says, damn, you're right. Fuck. This is where they start fixing the damage, but yeah. This is where, well, they're tired now after a while, but yeah. Well, they're not that tired, but they're just annoyed with Issei and Yoshin. Because they are basically two Kaiju users. Now, they don't know if there's more Kaiju users, because they do know that Issei did examine a little bit more about the Kaijus when there's a little bit more like Mothra or the others, but yeah. This is where, well, there are sweat dropping if there's any more users that actually have the same gauntlet, but yeah. But of course, we go into, well, Issei the next day. Issei is taking a nap. He doesn't care. He's going to take a nap for 3 days. He doesn't give a fuck. This is where, well, Yoshin is asleep, but yeah, in his own fucking place, but yeah. Of course, is where Sir Zex is talking to Rias, and even Azo being there, but yeah, and kind of answering questions, and how, well, Issei already knows them. This is where Azo says, well, we've been playing video games for a while, and we did meet at a game convention, but yeah. It's where, well, Sir Zex says, and I met him from the fact that I pissed him off one day, and he managed to get to, well, the 9 realms of hell, or mostly the underworld, and was trying to kill me. Also, Rias, you remember that whole incident about you not marrying Riser anymore? Rias says, yeah? Yeah, that was Issei on accident. Issei kind of atomic blasts Riser straight to the 9 realms of hell. He's not dead, he's just in critical damage. Riser didn't want to come back because he felt depressed and other things. So yeah. You're welcome for your marriage being destroyed in an instant. This is where Ria says, what? How? Oh, because I should mention one thing. Issei is no longer human. Well, not at all, mostly. Issei is now, I guess, you can say he's dragon, but kaijus aren't really dragons. They're mostly anything, just bigger creatures. So yeah, he's a kaiju now, or mostly kaiju's kind of descendant worshippers. But yeah, you get the point. I don't really know how to explain this. Mostly Sir Zex said. It's where Azo says. It's a little bit more confusing with both of them. So it's the best idea not to put them together in an enrolled school. Clearly, Yoshin doesn't like schools because he's bored out of his mind, and Issei would just like to just ditch most of them. So yeah, you can clearly see that both of them are skilled fighters. They're just lazy to do anything to actually show that. This is where, well, Sona sighs, and this is where she says, so is that why Issei was managing to dodge Sanji so easily? Yep, I'm guessing that Sanji was trying to tackle him, and Sanji got his face smashed into a wall multiple times. Pretty much, Issei's plan was just trying to knock him out, but yeah. This is where, well, they sweat drop, but yeah. But other than that, I'm going to end it off here for kind of, well, mostly part 1. But yeah, of what if Issei had a Kaiju's sacred gear, but yeah. Or mostly Godzilla sacred gear. I don't know what to call it, but you know, well, it's just going to be one of those. But yeah, other than that, bye.